very special people back there. We have Dismuke, our original Alphonse from the original Fullmetal Alchemist. And we have Todd Haberkorn, Ling Yao from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Puppies, so cute. But thank you, and thanks for, this is the only time I get to interact with Aaron because I know that our voices are in shows together, but that's about it. We don't even record at the same time. So this is a treat for me because I get to be next to this hunk. Sorry, y'all. But anyway, here we are.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah, we haven't had a proper conversation since we did dinner at one con.
Yeah, we absolutely.
And that's how it always goes. You.
Oh look, more shots.
Al. Yes, good. Oh, those are some doubles.
These are triples, by the way.
You got kind of a sadistic streak. I like it.
Can I open a FanX tab? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, so despite y'all being in different versions of Fullmetal Alchemist, I think we can all agree that we love both very, very much. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and then I'm going to leave it to you guys to take over. I know you guys would rather hear from them than from me. I'm just going to have a few questions to start us off. And the first one is, when you first joined the project, what did you think about it? Like the concept, the idea behind, this anime?
I thought very little about the concept behind it, and I thought very little about anything. I was 11.
That's about the age you start thinking about stuff, but not anime. Okay.
Yeah,
Had you seen anime prior to that?
Yeah, because Justin Cook, who got me into the whole family business through just mafia-style nepotism, he was also giving me a lot of free anime. So I was getting signed copies of Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho, and then he got me into Fruits Basket and I watched that, and so, okay, y'all, right on. Yeah, I had good cries to Fruits Basket as a 12-year-old. That was the one anime I could watch with my grandma, and I'll always be grateful for that.
One for all, all for one. So when you did so you came on board, you were familiar with anime, but in terms of acting, what was your background? Because, I started acting at 10, and so then at 11, that's still possible, but was that in the realm of what you wanted to do, just for even a fun time?
If I could go back in time, I would have been like, Mama, put me in classes.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was literally too vapid for it to even occur to me that I could take classes and pursue it as a career. Most of what I enjoyed doing was playing the video game Morrowind, and I read a lot, which is I think why Justin thought I might be decent at voice acting, because you can attest so much of his sight reading is just don't sound like you've never seen these words before.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. And so then you signed on to that show at 11, and then after that, how soon after did your next show come about?
Well, you're a good interviewer. You're gonna have to answer this question in a minute. The next show was Trinity Blood, and
I
was still, to quote Troy himself, slumming it up in anime. And I think Mike McFarlane passed me in that. He has a good heart, but he must have come to regret it, because that's when I hit the trouble years. Just strictly voice-wise. Where just, if I had to scream or even project a bit, my voice was going to crack so hard. Yeah, I mean, and he was like, no, it sounds natural, it's good. It's really good. But like, you'll notice, My Hero Academia, it's all about 15-year-olds, and their voices don't crack the way the real 15-year-old voices crack, because this is a stylized, beautified version of reality. I brought a little too much grit, I would say. And so then there was a lull after that where I didn't get any roles till my voice settled.
Makes sense, okay. All right.
Anyway, what were your thoughts on Fullmetal Alchemist when you got it?
Oh, well, for me, I looked at the world differently. I was a little bit older. I was, I think, 13 at the time. When I found out that I was joining the crew, I was recording Italia. And I had, which we had a new season, strangely, last year for some reason. Like, we did 6 seasons of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, psst, hey, what was that? The new season. What? Pasta. And so I was recording Italia, and I didn't know if you knew this, but originally I was England in Italia, and then I became Italy. And so I was recording that, and then Mike McFarlane comes in, and he goes, I have a role for you in a show coming up. He's a prince. Are you down to do the show? And the silly thing about asking an actor if they're down for a show, it's like, we're literally down for anything if it doesn't involve killing a family member, and sometimes if that's gonna look good in the final product, we probably are down for that. It's so goofy to me, because actors, it's like, oh yeah, I need to chop off how many fingers to get the roll? Okay, where's the knife? I mean, I have 8 other digits, right? I'm just chopping off 2. So ridiculous, so silly. Our cup of self-worth has such a giant hole in the bottom of it. And when you hit about 80 years old, you realize that, you know what, maybe you just use a different cup. But anyway, so Mike comes in and says, hey, you're going to be a prince in this show, and he wouldn't tell me what the name of the show was, and I said, okay, all right. He goes, you're going to like it. He goes, you'll know it when you see it. And I didn't watch a lot of anime knowingly. I was watching shows that I didn't know were anime. I didn't know Transformers and Vampire Hunter D and Blood were anime. And so when I'm watching those shows, I really got pissed when I discovered what an OVA was. Because I didn't know that an OVA was meant to be a 40-minute thing, and that's it. I was like, okay, movies just get stuff. The credits? WTF! Common law! And so so when I walked in and I saw that it was Full Metal, it was, obviously that show has such a legacy, and it's so well done, that it was a pleasure to be a part of it. Of course, a pleasure to be a part of it. And years later, come to find that they do a live action dub of it, and then I came back for Lin for that. Sorry, Lin in that version, and Prince of Ching in that version. I literally told the director, I go, that's not how we said it in the other one. And they're like, the engineer was like, oh, did he watch the other version? And I go, I did watch it, yes. And so it was, dude, it's on Netflix. And here we are.
All right, I have an easier question now. Do you have a memorable line or a scene that kind of stuck with you and is still currently like in your mind, a favorite scene or quote?
So, Mr. Dismuke, I know you work on a lot of shows. Is there, Full Metal or not, is there a show, whether because you've written it, you've directed it, you've been in it, exactly what she says. It sticks into your brain that you cannot forget, whether it's wakes you up with night terrors or it brings you joy. Is there one that stands out in all your years of service?
If I'm gonna answer for FMA, it's when Al is berating Ed about giving up during that one fight, and then his arm falls off. And it's just that classic FMA pivot where you go from heartbreaking to hilarious. I thought that was super cool. Thank you for bringing up writing. Attack on Titan, I adapted Commander Irvin's his suicide charge, the speech that he gave there. And I whenever I am doing a script and I don't want to do it, like I'm feeling like procrastinating, I will go look that up on YouTube, and I will get J. Michael Tam's voice to spur me forward towards the enemy that is my deadline.
That's creative, I like that.
Thank you. How about you?
In the Full Metal world, you know, I do have a scene, but one thing to also keep in mind is that we also experience the show differently than someone watching it when it's fully done. So when we watch a show, our voice could be the first one that's recorded in English on the show. It could be the last. If you're lucky, it's the last. So you can hear everybody else. Sometimes we record in a complete vacuum. Like we watch the Japanese clip of our moment, and then we come in and there's no music, no sound effects, nothing, because we're simul-dubbing it and they don't have all the materials and we just gotta get it done. So when we watch a show, it's different than when we see the finished product, like y'all do. And also at the same time, what Funimation was like, especially in this era, especially at my time during that run, is I was there 12 hours a day. So I was recording shows from open to close. I would go 10 to 10 sometimes. So like for Sergeant Frog, for example, I would record from 10 to 6, take a 15, 20-minute break, and record from 6:20 to 10 p.m. So my memory is there, but there was a lot going on. But I always like to think about the train fight scene with Gluttony. And again, back to the live-action version. The live-action version of that scene versus what was done in the anime is very different. I will let you decide which one you fancy, but it's very different. But yeah, that was always a fun scene, and Ling was great because to play a character that has the confidence to not only wear yellow, but also wear it shirtless after eating gigantic meals is impressive. So I gotta give props to him for that. There is a lot of eating in the live action one, but it's not massive amounts of food. Like there's a part where I take an apple turnover and I eat the whole thing at once, but that's not like, shoveling.
Sounds like the actor was scared to commit it.
Yeah, he was very, he looked very pretty. He was a very, very pretty man, and I understand, listen, we're gonna do this take one time. You get one shot at this. I'm gonna eat one apple turnover, that's it. And then he did it, and it was very nice. It was very nice.
All right, so you gravitate towards characters that wear yellow and eat a lot of food.
Yes, that's right.
I know you guys previously said that when a role is offered to you or an idea is put out, you want to take it. But do you get any insight on the character traits? Are there any character traits that you gravitate to, whether it be a villain or a good guy or anything like that? Are there traits that you feel comfortable?
The traits of the most lines. Everyone's like, you like playing heroes or villains? Well, which one has more screen time? Because why aren't we getting into this gig? We want to be on screen. We want our mom to look at us and say, yes, you can make it in this industry and you can succeed and do well, and me telling you to be a doctor or a lawyer was BS because look at you go. And then when she realized by episode episode 26 is, Mama's never gonna say that. So you're back to your empty cup. You're trying to fill it with more and more episodes and roles, but Mama's she's never gonna give it to you, so you throw that cup away. But I love it. I love it all. No, I think we gravitate towards, what the role requires. And so I think oftentimes that's an interesting question that you ask, because I think a lot of times we're in this era where we cast it's all reality TV casting. So for a movie, well, if you're gonna, okay, here's the role. A 25-year-old serial killer lives in Texas. Well, I can't have Aaron do that unless he's a serial killer, and then maybe he can do it. But if he's never been a serial killer, I need an authentic serial killer. What? So that's where we're at right now. We're casting based on exactly what the role is. So you don't really get an opportunity to act. What you're really doing is you're memorizing. Is essentially what I feel you're doing for a lot of it. For casting, what I always do when I'm casting a show is who's the best human being for that role, based on their auditions, based on what I know of their work, etc. Have I worked with them before? But so oftentimes I see a lot of casting right now, it's like, this is the story of a man who lived inside of a whale and grew rice and tomatoes in the whale's stomach and harvested it. It's called The Whale Farmer. I need someone who's harvested tomatoes and rice from a whale to authentically portray this role. As opposed to, well, is Aaron's voice right for this role? If it's right for the role, let's do it. Do you know what I mean? So, but I understand the need for the authenticity. I think we're still trying to figure out what that is. But it's always odd to me that when we come to some cartoons, that like, for example, with like The Little Mermaid that's just come out. If she was the best one for the role, she's the best one for the role. It's about a mermaid. You know what I mean? If it fits, great, do it. I wasn't the Prince of Shing when I played Lane, but I feel like I did an okay job. We're here, right? So I don't know. That's how I feel about that. So I know some people may disagree or agree, and if you disagree, I'll block you. No, this isn't Twitter. That's the real world. This is fake, right? No.
That was good.
Yeah.
You're hard to follow.
Well, I feel like too many times voice actors, we have to be politicians. More so than on-camera actors. When an on-camera actor does that, it's courageous. And thank you for following your heart. And when a musician does it, they can do whatever they want. And that's why when a voice actor is like, yes, I agree with that. Yes, that's an excellent point. I respect your vision. Yes, I'm just a voice actor. Yes, whatever you say. Well, it's like, well, what's the real opinion? And the real opinion is, in this case, if you're right for the role, you're right for the role. I don't know. Now, what do you think?
So I agree with that. Here comes the politician. Okay, so the way I got into voice acting.
Yeah.
Mafia-esque nepotism.
Yes.
That sort of opportunity
That's true.
came to people who looked like me first, especially whenever I was starting. Funimation, when I was starting, there wasn't a black man in that building. And so, to some extent, I do think that there should be some effort to include people who haven't been included before in your considerations for casting.
But equal opportunity doesn't mean equal results. That's the difference. And so I'm not arguing at all, but I'm not saying that equal opportunity shouldn't be there. I didn't touch that at all. I agree with you. As an Asian guy in an industry where I've been told, we don't know what to do with your look. Obviously, I've literally been told by casting directors, we don't know what to do with your look. Obviously, I want equal opportunity, but it doesn't mean equal result. So that's where that goes back to, where it's like, I want the best person for the role. I want to hear from everybody. saying in terms of the
It's not. It's like I like the effort to make more diverse casts, but I don't see the need for the casts unless if the show is about a certain subject. I don't see the need for the cast to be tagged up in the way you're describing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, unless if the subject is something that is an experience that maybe some groups of people can dig a lot deeper into more easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think there's a blanket statement that can be made. I think it is a case by case because no two projects are going to be the same. It's going to fit a different audience, a different modality of who's going to watch it, who's going to participate in it. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. So yeah, I think when circling back to what was mentioned earlier in terms of traits that stand out for roles that we go out for or get brought to us, a lot of times I feel like for me, I get roles and I pick what I feel I would be good at or not good at. So I don't try to pick things that are me. I try to act things that are totally not me. So a big critique that I would hear for many years is, Todd plays the same roles in VO. That's not my doing. I get asked to do those roles. And also, if the anime show is a high school kid times 10 different shows, well, am I supposed to go in there and be like, well, I played a high school kid this last one, so I need to be an old man in this one, just to, you know what I mean?
Have you noticed like phases in your career where like a certain type
Yes, I'm all villains now.
and then a certain type? Nice.
I used to be the good guy.
I want to hit my villain phase.
You will. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, you've got time.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was all awkward boys, just because I'm an awkward boy. And then I got, this was very flattering, I got cast as a few geniuses.
Well, he's very smart. He's very, very smart. You know this. How many people can sense the smartness? Raise your hand. You see? This boy.
I'm predisposed to compliment me, that's fine.
We need an origin story. We need an origin story for you, and then we can, work on your villain arc.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, that's the second film. When we think we're following the hero's journey, the second film is like, oh wait, no, he's the villain! That's where we find out the end of the second movie, and then the third movie is where we find out, well, which way you're gonna go. And then we have a mentor come up and say like,
it is your choice whether you're going to save the world or bring it into darkness.
and then you're gonna be standing over him, and you've got the weapon, the tesseract, the Deus Ex Machina in your hand, and then you're standing there, and then once you realize right before you're about to make the decision, someone comes in off screen and they go, it doesn't matter what you think. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? And you're like, how did you get in this movie? He's like, I'm taking over this franchise, and you realize you've been in a Black Adam movie the whole time.
Much wow. Alright, so I'm going to ask my last question. If you guys have questions for these beautiful gentlemen before we end, please start lining up here so we can get started. My last question for you two. Can you think of a memorable experience you had at a convention? Whether it's Fullmetal Alchemist, conversation, or, another anime of yours.
I had someone, this was when I was going to conventions with my mom, someone slipped their phone number and a brief note under my hotel room door.
Wow, that's some snooping. How did they find out?
As a 16-year-old, I was very excited by it. I mean, I wasn't gonna call, but I was like, oh, my friends are gonna love this.
Did you save it, just to have
I saved a lot of things for a length of time.
Yeah.
And then I have periodic urges. Where I everything is cast into the fire. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Looks like someone's playing their villain role a little early. No, that makes sense. That's a great question. That is a fun memory. For me, a memorable experience at a convention, quite honestly, they happen each time because what I find so amazing is that no matter where we go in the country or the world or city, the experiences, there's an energetic bond that I see that is fluent through all the conventions, which comes from a place of real gratitude. When you all come up and speak your history of what anime means to you, and whether what Fullmetal means or what fairy tale means to you, and how it got you through the hard setting on your life dungeon before you got back to the merchant and bought some health potion and upgraded your sword, and then killed whoever brought darkness to you. I don't want to know about that part. When I get interrogated, the less I know, the better. But that's meaningful to me because we're recording in the darkness, in a booth, with people that look at dubbing and recording video games, etc., as their gig, and it's one gig in 1,000. So we often lose sight of the fact that each one of those is a little island of experience that means something to someone out here all over the world. It doesn't mean we don't value it. It means that our soul has so many ounces in a year, and we can give so many of those ounces to a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. If we gave our heart to every single thing that we do, we'd go insane, and you'd be visiting me in a padded room. So where I give out my ounces of care is when you give me your care. So there's that symbiotic venom carnage exchange. And it's really meaningful to me because that lets me know that what we do in those padded rooms, behind the mic, in the darkness, means something. And we're not, that even if I don't get my mom's approval, which I never will, that cold-hearted, even though I won't get her approval, that we get your acceptance. And we get your vulnerability. And that will always be something that I will always remember and be thankful for, no matter if it happens one time or 1,000 times. It's so potent, and I thank you for that. So thank you.
All right, we should have enough time to answer all y'all's questions, so let's get to it.
Wait, just real quick before you start. Also, someone once gave me a comic book of me fighting the zombie apocalypse, and you're in it.
Can I see
You
this?
saved my life in it.
You're welcome.
I owe you my fictional life.
You better take a shot of water.
So this water was like here, just sort of hanging out. I'll take it.
There you go. Whole thing. Are you a man or are you a man?
Woo, that sure is empty.
Cut to it. I'm holding the IV. I'm like water poisoning. I didn't know. Got it.
Okay.
I can't drive like 4 shots of alcohol.
Alright, just wanted to say it's great to have you guys here in Salt Lake.
Thank you.
My question is, in your voice acting, do you or have you ever found a particular emotion that's a little more difficult for you to portray solely through your voice as opposed to like other methods of acting? Or was there one when you were starting out acting that was a little more difficult to learn to portray through your voice?
Crying. I hate all of my early crying. There are multiple scenes where I have characters who are wailing out loud, and I voiced them when I was like under 20 and hadn't taken acting classes really. And when I watch them now, I'm like, you tried, buddy. And I now have taken classes, and so I recently like unlocked the achievement of like actually crying in the booth. And I was very precious about that, and I still am. Yeah.
How about you? I thought I was okay at zombie stuff, but when I was working on Resident Evil 2, I think it was, the director. So you have to picture, I'm sitting there with the head cam on, and we're doing things like. Doing that, and the director's like, let's get another one. And I just want to feel the despair of the zombie as he's chewing into this person before him. so let's try it one more time. And I was like, okay. So I thought I was pretty good at zombie stuff, but apparently I gotta go back to zombie school. So he really...
I'm sorry to ask, but can I hear just a sad zombie?
And that's when I get shot by Leon. And yeah, then he was like, we did it several times, and he's like, I think we can take that. That's zombie stuff.
Thank you.
Hi.
What's a role of yours that you would say that you like really related to the character? Like they were like scary close to how you are, or like a role that really is just dear to you?
Urushihara from Devil is a Part-Timer. So, you might not all know the term NEAT. Raise your hand if you know the term NEAT. Okay, so it's N-E-E-T, it's an acronym. The elite few of us know that this means not employed in education or in training. It means you're doing nothing with your life. And at the time when I was cast as Urushihara, life was a series of chores I had to complete in order to then play video games. And I also enjoy being snarky, and so he just lined up so well with my values. Nope.
I think the Drifter from Destiny. Because that character is literally modeled after me, but beyond that, because he is someone who, when you walk into a room, I feel like the vibe I give off is like other people looking at me going like, he doesn't, what's he doing here? He doesn't, did someone let him, did he sneak in here? Does he belong in here? But then what you realize is, oh no, I belong. I know what I'm doing. I'll kill you. And then when I say that in terms of I know what I'm doing is like, I'm talking about the voiceover world in the sense that if there are a million things, and I've said this before, if there are a million things I'm terrible at, which we all are, there are a million things, I can't cook like her, I'm not good at composing music, I don't know how to read music very well, I'm not the best photographer in the world. The list goes on to about 1,000,001 things, but if I'm good at one thing, I'm gonna effing own it, and I know it. And that's the Drifter. He knows what he's good at, and he stays in his lane. Now my lane is about the size of a vein, but I stay in that lane, and if you come into that vein knows what it's doing. That's it. I can lift 5 pounds in the gym. I can run on the treadmill for 40 seconds. So I'm not good at those things. But in my little vein, that's my area. So own it. What's your vein? What's the thing that you're good at? If you're bad at a million things, what's one thing you're awesome at?
I think making people comfortable around me.
You're a soother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Thanks for answering. Thank you. Peace be with you and also with you.
First of all, my favorite and very first anime was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Sorry.
It's okay.
Long time ago. And my question is, has there ever been a time when you've been playing a role, particularly in Fullmetal Alchemist, because these are quite tragic characters in my opinion, that the role has emotionally affected you outside of just recording?
Yeah, I was furious with Al. When I really liked Marla, and Marla wanted to kill Kimberly, and I was like, that's fair. That guy, and my thinking was not about revenge, it was about, that guy needs to die, because he is unrepentant. He is like, yeah, I killed a bunch of people, and I'd do it again, and I hope I get to. And Marla's like, I'm gonna kill him because he killed my friends. And Al is like, revenge is wrong! And he saves Kimberly's life. And then what does Kimberly do? He kills a bunch of civilians. And to me, their blood was on Al's hands. I've developed a more nuanced understanding of things since then, largely due to the video game Undertale, which I can't recommend enough. So everyone who's played Undertale knows that there's a moment in it where someone is threatening to kill all your friends, and you are like, I don't care, I'm not gonna kill you. Al was trying to look out for Marla's soul. More than, and he hopes to stop Kimberly too, but he knew that if Marla killed Kimberly, Marla would be the worst person for it. So I understand that now, but 12-year-old me was like, you're an idiot.
Not so much with just how my dynamic was in Brotherhood, but outside of that, a show called ReZero. I played a character named Betelgeuse Romani Conti, and that stuck with me because he is so vile. I felt so bad for that hero, Subaru. I felt so bad for him. That after those recordings, I was just like, man, I am a piece of dog ass. And that was a tough one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My turn. It's time to
Hi again.
Hi.
Good to see you. Doing good.
Good. Not too tired?
Nah.
K.
Stay hydrated. Yeah, hi.
And KC. Cassandra. Okay, close.
That's really close.
Dang it.
Good try.
Alright, so I know you don't watch anime the same way we do, but if you can remember, what is your favorite anime opening or ending from either the Fullmetal Alchemist?
I'll tell you my favorite song
Yeah.
from the soundtrack, because I'm one of those degenerates that skips the opening and closing. Sorry. But it's the Dante theme.
That's a good
So it's the da 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 da, like when she like pulls, and this is only the original, but she like pulls Hohenheim's soul out of his dying body and sticks it in someone else. So good, chills. Yeah.
How about you, Mr.
There's a song and it's in a deleted scene. It goes, I can't fight this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When I hold you in my arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright.
So my question is, I'm a Genshin player. I know. I know you play Razor, and I love him. But my question is, if you two were both in the world of Genshin, what would your element and your weapon be? And Todd, it's okay if you cheat and just say.
If you could explain what these things are. I mean, I know what elements and weapons are.
You can just make it up, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Inspire us with your choice.
Okay, so for me, I would be Dendro and an O.
I'm sorry, what was the first word?
So, okay, right. Okay, so there's elements, and Dendro, which is a weird word.
Dendro.
Yeah, it's like Earth. You like shoot and
What's the difference? Why isn't it called Earth?
Copyright.
The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
I see.
I don't know. I really don't know. But it's like...
Is it livelier Earth?
Yeah, it's like plants. You like shoot it, and then like, it's like green everywhere.
I like that.
Yeah, it's my favorite color, so I was
potatoes. And my weapon would be the Pandora's box from the new Hellraiser.
You've opened the box.
That's what I would do. It's a future DLC.
No, it's the next event.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it's made out of potato. Ooh, I did play a singing potato when there was a gig where it was me, Spike Spencer, and Christina V. We were singing potatoes and we did it in English. We did the lines and songs in English and then also in Spanish. And that has happened. I'll see what I can do.
I can spare you. If you
No, I've got it. Okay, so there's an air one?
Yeah,
What's
it's
that?
ammo.
Ammo? Ammo? Animo. Okay, so what's the difference between that and air?
Yeah. What?
What's the difference?
Animo's filtered, and then the air is just like air.
Oh, it's like filtered. Yeah, I would definitely go animo because like we have a lot of pollution problems in my state, and so then I can still go outside. I also like the idea. I'm pretty sure that I could get a lot of people to back down from fighting me if I just did the thing that Goku does, where you make the grass blow away from you in like concentric circles. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna back down if I look pissed and do that.
The pronunciation of that is currently trending is the Kameyamama. That's what someone says. Oh, when you do your Kameyamama, yeah, it's sad.
Thank you for trying. I love you too.
Not to
Thank
be
you.
a party pooper, we have about less than 10 minutes. I want to make sure we all get our questions answered, so we're going to try and go.
Speak for yourself. Yeah, we will.
I'm
sorry.
I'll try.
Hi, I'm KK, and I'm Aaron. I have a big favor for you. Could you voice act Tamajiki from My Hero Academia for my friend?
Yes. Not on camera.
Not here.
Well, whatever. Okay, let's go. Are you filming already?
No, can you please say thank you for being my best friend?
Yeah. Wait, what do you want me to say to them?
Thank you for being my best friend.
Can you please be okay? Yeah. So what I do for Tamaki is I go deep, and then I do this where I feel like I'm gonna cry. I just relive when I'm really nervous at school. Hi. I've forgotten your name. What's their name?
Jonas.
Hi, Jonas. Will you be my best friend? Okay, there you go.
Hi, my name is Hannah. So I know we can never replace your dearest Al. Todd. Al. But if you had to pick one of your other characters from the other animes voiced in to replace your character in Fullmetal, who would it be? Todd, you cannot pick anything.
Let me
Or
think.
not to.
They need to be sturdy if they're gonna survive it. I don't play very many sturdy boys. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with Tamaki. I think he's got the best defense out of all of my characters.
Would you put Tamaki in Al's armor body? That's rude.
Oh, if they can go into Al's armor body, if they go into Al's armor body, then Senku. 'Cause he could learn alchemy pretty fast, I think. It would kind of piss him off, but he can learn it.
Technically, I would say Drac from Hotel Transylvania 4, because I voice matched him. So I've played that character. Damn. From the anime world, was the singing potato an anime? No, it was a cartoon. It was just a regular cartoon.
How dope would it be if it was your Sergeant Frog character?
There we go.
Yes, my favorite Picapodians come to life.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Good one. See, I told you he was smart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again. You have a mouth. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Sorry, massive.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say I've been through a lot of crap growing up, and you guys have been there for me through your shows. It's been amazing. So thank you for calling me.
Absolutely.
Honored to do it.
It's my birthday week, so all I want to do is just for you guys to wish me
Happy birthday.
Happiest of birthdays to you. I hope that on this national holiday, you are recognized by the city by giving a key made of chocolate. I hope they give you that. And if you're allergic to chocolate, don't eat the key.
I'm a firebug. Can I get that instead?
Ooh, let me see what I got in the back.
All right.
May your eggs scramble well and your houseplants flourish.
My name is Jen. My question is, out of all the characters that either one of you have played, which one is your favorite? And why?
Out of everyone we've played, out of every character, Simku, he's very challenging. He's very smart. It's exciting to play him. I never get bored.
I mean, it's Natsu and the Drifter. Those two. Hashtag 100-year quest. So we'll see. Those guys. And the singing potato.
Thank you.
Hello. My question is, most everyone knows that there's a little sibling rivalry and pranks between you and Vic. I wondered if there's any other like little pranks or things that you two have had or other castmates while working on them, or even at concerts.
I mean, I feel like the big prankster is Sabbath.
Yeah.
Sabbath, so remember when I said he's smart? He's smart. Sabbath is
Diabolical.
yeah, he's done things to like. Okay, I'll give you one rule to please always remember this. You remember nothing else from this weekend. Never have your phone unlocked around Sabbath. That will save your life, your career, your family relationships. Yeah, Sabbath's good at the pranks. Yep, he's the one.
What he said.
Hi, I'm Elaine, and I have a different question for both of you. Todd, you're one of my favorite voice actors ever. You are #1 on my list. And my question for you is, how did you feel when you were voicing the Fairy King in SFL?
Oh, Oberon. You know, he was one of the few, because usually when I play a character, I'm like, I try to see from their perspective what makes him tick. With him, I was like, oh man, I hope he dies hard. Oh man. And then when it happened, I was like, that was a good death. Like, I thought that wasn't appropriate, because I was like, usually they kind of it's lame, and they fall down a pit, you never see them, they just fall into nothingness, or they get stabbed real fast. But the way he got stabbed, and the way he died, I was down for that. I would see that on, like, if they made a gif of that, and just like, I would watch that a lot. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Aaron, you're also one of my favorites. You come in #3 on my list.
I'll take it.
Well, Bryce Papenbrook is second. So, but my question for you is, did you memorize any of the formulas when you were voicing Cinda?
No. We would look up the pronunciations like day of, and a lot of them were astonishingly bad. Like a robot that was like sort of drunk trying to pronounce it. It was like if Siri like got dropped too many times and then pronouncing sulfa hydroxide chloric acid or whatever. But yeah, we would go through it. It would usually take like 30 minutes just to find how to say it. And then I have to pronounce it in a sentence, so that's fun. But yeah, no, I never managed to memorize any.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You.
Hello! First I wanted to say just it's so cool to see you guys. Fullmetal Alchemist has kind of changed the course of my life fundamentally in a couple ways, so it's really cool. One of the things that's most meaningful, I think, about Fullmetal Alchemist is the depth of the characters and how nuanced they are. And my question is, was there anything that surprised you about your characters, whether while recording or watching it back afterwards? Ling Yao, Alphonse, and Slave 23, perhaps. Anything that surprised you?
I think it was, Ling had a really nice balance of something that Aaron was touching on earlier in terms of the dynamic of the show, where he could be righteous and heroic, and then also at the same time comedic and fun. In a different way than like someone like Thor has become. Thor is like all jokes now. So you don't really get behind his struggles, or like when Jane, for those of you that haven't seen the latest Thor, when he's going through his little, like you don't care because you're like, well, he's a clown now. But Ling had a nice balance of being able to walk the line on both sides, and I thought that was a nice achievement because it's not always successful, and it's rarely done. Usually it's one side or the other. So I like that.
This is sort of, the main one I would say would be the sort of, I played Undertale and realized Al wasn't just stupid. But the other one I would say is, this is the other point where I was really mad at Al as a kid, is when he believed Barry the Chopper about him not being real. I've given that some thought as well, since becoming an adult. And I think that actually, so it's since I adapted Overlord that I started thinking about it. So I adapted scripts for Overlord, which is would be just a cookie cutter isekai wish fulfillment, like weird fantasy, like, oh, what if you were way stronger than everyone else in this fantasy world, and also all the women there, they really want you, and you look cool, and everybody wants to be you, and you build an empire, and everyone's really happy to be in your empire. Like, just pure wish fulfillment, except he cannot feel anything because he is there as, he's been incarnated there as a lich, which was his character class. And it's also sort of the experience anyone who spent too much time in Skyrim houses where you have all this prestige and you find yourself with a spouse in this fantasy world and they've only got 10 lines they can say and you start to feel a little empty. And basically, having experienced some more things in my life, I was like, this was probably a question Al had been asking himself since the moment he woke up in that suit of armor, And I think that Barry the Chopper just accurately realized that question existed for Al, and then sort of made that wound larger. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Corbin D. Kerr. I'm gonna be King of the Pirates. You guys do a lot of like fighting stuff, right? Like especially you with Destiny, do you do a lot of right?
Sometimes I will.
Yeah. How do you guys like train to not go like crazy, like voice scratching crazy? Is it like a technique?
You count on a good director who's like, all right, let's get that 9 more times. You make sure that you make sure that you can stick the landing. Like you know what the landing is. You know what the parameters are, and you know the situation around it so that you're not just flying off the handle, shotgunning vocally off into the dark. And that takes a good captain, I feel. Because there have been times when productions don't, for various reasons, budget, want to hire a competent director, so they're just like, hey, you, by the water cooler, you breathe, you can see, you read, come over here. And then like when they get those types of folks on, you're doing 15, 20 takes when take 5 they told you was perfect, and they told you take 9 was perfect, and take 12 was perfect, but now we're on take 20. Why? Because they need to go back to the water cooler. And so when you have a good captain, that avoids situations like that.
Yeah, I'll just add, you hydrate so much. You were drinking water between every single take.
Even though you're 70% water.
Yeah, by the end of a stressful session, you should be 85% water.
You should be floating within your own meat sack of
What about the
skin.
sweat?
Yeah.
What about the sweat?
Oh, the
Did
sweat?
you use any of that?
Oh my god. So when I was recording on Rage, the first Rage game, I was really eager to show them that I could, because I was also going to work on Doom. And so I was working on Rage, and the booth was, I was doing way too much. I was like, every take I was so enthusiastic and screaming my head off, etc. So I was drenched in sweat, drenched. And then I was like, this is gonna be weird, because I had a camera in the booth right there. And I'm like, this is weird, but I'm freezing, but I'm sweating at the same time. Because it's cold in the booth, but I'm drenched in sweat. And I go, can I record topless? Because I needed to get the sweat off. And the engineer was like, okay. And so that's how I got through the sweat, because I had to stop that tsunami of cold and hot at the same time, and I lost my voice for 9.5 days. I could not whisper even, and I thought I was done. And I was like, well, better start learning how to make shoes and open up a cobbler station. That's the one thing I would go do. But yeah, so I lost it for 9.5 days because I didn't have a good director who said, stop, I can see you're pushing, quit doing that. Why don't you come on out and take a break? Instead they're like, yeah, okay, come on, give us more. Then when I worked on Rage 2, completely different team, I walked in the door and I go, they didn't tell me what the game was. And I looked and I go, oh, this is Rage Part 2. They go, yeah, and I go, that's fine. Like the first one, and I told them what happened on the first one, and they looked at it like I was like, kind of passive-aggressively telling them don't do that to me, but I wasn't at all. I was just like, this is what happened, and it got real weird. But we did it. and here's the other thing. So I was recording it, and they left the talkback mic on, and they'd been like, just keep pushing him, keep pushing through the lines. We gotta get these lines. I don't care if his voice is hurting. So they still were doing that mentality, even though I just told them what happened to my voice. And then you heard the button go. It got real silent, and the button clicked off. And there was a second, and like there's glass here, and I'm on this side, so they can't see me. And I was like that monkey that goes. Like that looks over there. But anyway, don't do that to your voice.
I won't. Thank you. I'll see you when I take over the room.
Alright, so they are playing music, they're trying to kick us out. We can get these two questions.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm Dallin. This is for Aaron. I'm just wondering, first of all, I got into Fullmetal during quarantine, and so that was what got me into anime in general. But I just wanted to know, it's been almost 20 years since the original came out.
Yeah.
Is there like anything particular from that you've carried with you for all your...
Generally, in a civilian life, what would Al do is a pretty good moral compass to follow. So that's something that happens. And every now and then I'm like, faced with something where it's like I have a selfish option, I have a not selfish option. I'm like, okay, what would Al do? And then I try to do that thing if I can. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Yosemite.
Hi, my name is Haberkorn. Fullmetal was my first anime I ever watched. Down was actually the one that got me and my brother into it. And I was wondering if you could choose anyone to voice act now, who would you do it, like in Fullmetal?
If I could act as any character in Fullmetal,
Yeah.
am I guaranteed to do a good job?
Yeah.
Armstrong. Sabbath can take the hit.
The Armstrong. That was pretty good. Well, remember, Sabbath's pranked me a lot. I've had a lot of time to think about him. For me, the little panda, Monica's panda. Because I love pandas. Pandas just don't want to exist, by the way. Did you know that? Like, you have to make them, like, go to your home and mate with that other panda, make more. you have to make them. They don't want to, like, no, we don't want to exist.
They play music and stuff too to try to. Yeah. They do all sorts of stuff.
Turn the panda lights down. Like, yeah, they try all this stuff. But anyway, the panda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all